The thing about inherited wealth is that it often mistakes a long lineage for actual talent, and it always assumes the world works exactly the way it did for Grandpa. I'm Marcus Thorne, and I built Nexus Core Technologies from the ground up. So I was used to dealing with arrogance, but I never expected my own skin color would become a featured segment on a live-streamed corporate execution. I was at the annual Tech Innovation Summit, inside the grand ballroom of the Regent Hotel, a place where billions in infrastructure deals are made over lukewarm champagne. My company, Nexus Core, is the backbone of the digital world. We host and power roughly half the Fortune 500. So I was there for one reason: to finalize a partnership that would secure our future. And honestly, to enjoy the irony of being the quiet engine running the whole show. Across the room, gliding through the power elite like she owned the very marble beneath her designer heels, was Serafina Vance Rothschild. She was fifth generation, old money, a walking, talking monument to effortless arrogance, and the chief digital officer of Vance Group Holdings, her family's $3.7 billion empire. Her entire job seemed to be live streaming her privileged life to her 3.8 million followers. And every post she made, every recommendation she dropped, moved her family's stock. It was social media influence weaponized into market manipulation. I was focused on the quantum computing display, genuinely fascinating tech that Nexus Core needed for our next-gen data processing. The ballroom was buzzing, but I was in the zone, deep in a technical discussion with a vendor, when I heard the voice. Loud, sharp, and utterly dripping with contempt. That black skin just does not belong in this room. Like, ew. I didn't immediately realize she was talking about me. I just registered the sound of a verbal train wreck happening nearby. Then I heard her high-pitched, practiced influencer voice aimed right at my head. "Guys, look at this joke," she narrated, her phone camera fixed squarely on my tuxedo. She stepped directly in front of me, blocking my view of the display. Her expensive heels clicked a rhythm of entitlement on the polished floor. I maintained my composure, every year of corporate experience teaching me that quiet dignity is the best defense against public spectacle. She held up her pale arm to the camera, then pointed her phone lens straight at my face. "See the difference?" she sneered, her voice dropping that extra notch of cruelty for the camera. "This is what success looks like." Around us, conversations died, executives froze, champagne flutes halfway to their mouths. Her live stream comments were exploding, and I could feel the heat of the phone light on my face. She was performing for her crowd, and I was the prop. "Real wealth stays white, honey," she delivered the line, pausing perfectly for dramatic effect. "Always has, always will." She couldn't have known that those few ugly sentences, broadcast live to 47,000 people and counting, were the exact words that would vaporize her family's entire multi-billion-dollar fortune within the next 90 minutes. The irony of the whole night, the thing Serafina, her father, and the entire Vance Group completely missed, was that old money families like theirs now depend entirely on new digital power to survive. Vance Group Holdings, with their 340 luxury hotels, their cryptocurrency platform, and their 12 million streaming subscribers, was a vast digital castle built on someone else's foundation. And that foundation? It was Nexus Core Technologies. We, quietly, hosted their entire operation. Our infrastructure was the reason their booking systems processed $50 million every single month. Our data network streamed their content. Their cryptocurrency platform? It was running on our cloud. Serafina's father, Senator Alistair Vance, had courted us for months because securing that partnership, my partnership, was the only thing standing between continued dominance and complete digital obsolescence. Earlier that evening, I'd seen Alistair, silver-haired and impeccably dressed, talking about the importance of capturing content for Serafina's followers, emphasizing that this Nexus Core partnership could define our digital future. The sheer, absolute desperation of his need for us was completely lost on his daughter. She was circling me now, practically vibrating with self-importance, oblivious to the fact that I was checking my watch, not because I was bored, but because I had a scheduled, pre-approved action item in my calendar, one that I had hoped I wouldn't have to use. "I'm genuinely curious," She cooed into the camera, tilting her head. How exactly did someone like you afford the $10,000 ticket? Did you borrow Daddy's credit card? I kept my voice low, calm, and professional, which only seemed to make her performance more frantic. Look, I don't want trouble. I'm here for the presentations. Trouble? She shrieked, the sound sharp against the elegant ambiance. Honey, you're trouble. This is exactly why we need better security screening. She motioned dramatically to her phone camera. My family built this industry. Guys, Vance Group has been setting standards for decades. We know quality when we see it. Her live stream viewer count was soaring past 100,000. And my mind was racing. Every single racist utterance she was making was being preserved, archived, and timestamped by the platforms we powered. A couple of reluctant security guards approached. They knew the Vance name, but they were clearly uncomfortable. Ma'am, is there a problem? This person, Serafina pointed a long, accusing finger at me, is making me extremely uncomfortable. I want to see his invitation. People like him don't just show up at events like this. I felt the familiar tension in my jaw, but I didn't raise my voice. People like me, I repeated levelly. Oh, don't play innocent, she yelled, reading more supportive comments aloud. This is a tech innovation gala, not a diversity photo opportunity. I knew I had to establish the record clearly. I kept my hand subtly near my phone, activating my own recording function. I have every right to be here. Rights? She scoffed. Based on what qualifications? Did you even finish high school? Can you spell cryptocurrency without autocorrect? I could see the tech executives nearby whispering, their discomfort turning into fear, not for me, but for their own association with the Vance name. They were posting their own content, too, creating an independent, multi-angle documentary of her self-destruction. My attire seems appropriate for the occasion, I countered simply, letting my professional composure highlight her hysteria. Appropriate? She laughed, a truly ugly sound. Honey, appropriateness isn't just about clothes. It's about breeding, education, family history, things you clearly lack. She grew shrill, demanding the security guards search my pockets for proprietary information, pure industrial espionage paranoia fueled by pure racism. She then dialed her father on speakerphone, ensuring her entire live stream heard the humiliation. Daddy, there's a major security situation. Someone completely inappropriate got past screening. He has no business background, no technical education, probably no college degree. Senator Vance's strained, embarrassed voice crackled through the phone. Victoria, handle this quietly. We discussed maintaining professional appearances. Professional? She argued publicly, her indignation reaching a fever pitch. What's professional about letting random people infiltrate our exclusive events? Look at him. Does he look like he belongs with tech innovators and Fortune 500 CEOs? The absolute silence that followed her final, explicitly racist pronouncement was deafening. I want everyone to understand something, she declared to her camera, positioning herself perfectly. This black skin represents everything wrong with letting the wrong people in. Serafina's live stream became a digital crime scene. In the minutes after I announced the termination, her phone exploded with notifications. Sponsors, Chanel, Tesla, Hermes, were canceling contracts worth millions annually. Her social media empire, her greatest asset, was transforming into her greatest liability as brands raced to distance themselves from her toxic brand of racism. Alistair Vance was clutching his chest, frantically making emergency board calls. Vance Group stock plummeted from $127 to $31 per share. 40 years of business building destroyed by 3 minutes of live-streamed hatred. Nexuscore's termination triggers automatic cancellation clauses. I explained to the shocked onlookers. Vance Group's entire digital infrastructure depends on our services. The lights literally began to flicker across the 340 Vance hotels worldwide as our systems began shutting down. The plaza's own manager received urgent calls as their reservation platform went dark, stranding thousands of guests. Daddy, fix this. Call your lawyers. Make them honor their contracts. Serafina pleaded desperately. There are no contracts to honor. Alistair gasped. Broken. Discrimination clauses void everything. Your racism just bankrupted our family. The $890 million cryptocurrency platform they had invested in crashed instantly. Digital wallets froze. Investor funds vanished. And because Serafina's live stream was capturing every moment of this financial apocalypse, the Security and Exchange Commission, SEC, immediately opened emergency investigations into her market manipulation through racist statements. Her live stream was now federal evidence. The corporate isolation was immediate and unprecedented. Amazon Web Services terminated their backup contracts. Microsoft canceled $180 million in software licensing. Google removed all Vance properties from search results. The tech world had unanimously decided that racism was the ultimate business liability. Your streaming services go offline next. I noted. 12 million subscribers just lost access to their content libraries. Serafina, weeping, checked her banking app. My trust fund. It's all tied to company stock. 89% losses in 4 hours. The heiress who mocked black skin was watching her $47 million inheritance evaporate, falling rapidly to just over $5 million. Meanwhile, Nexuscore's stock rose 34%. Investors recognized that principled leadership, my decisive action against racism, was a competitive advantage. In the next 48 hours, Vance Group Holdings became the most toxic brand in corporate America. The racist culture Serafina had flaunted was exposed as institutional, leading federal investigators to uncover decades of systematic discrimination across all company divisions, from hiring to vendor selection. The Department of Justice filed a massive $2.8 billion civil rights lawsuit. Serafina's live stream became exhibit A in what would become the largest corporate civil rights prosecution in U.S. history. At her criminal trial, the explicit nature of her skin color mockery shocked the jurors. She was sentenced to 18 months in federal prison for civil rights violations, plus $2.7 million in fines and victim compensation. But the part that truly satisfied me, the thing that proved true justice, was the community service. 2.000 hours. Specifically in predominantly black neighborhoods. Serafina was mandated to work directly with the communities she had publicly denigrated. Her father, Alistair Vance, faced even worse consequences. He was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison for enabling institutional discrimination. The family's complete financial ruin included the seizure of their Manhattan penthouses, Hamptons estates, and art collections. The Vance Rothschild effect entered business school terminology. Harvard, Wharton, and Stanford created mandatory case studies examining how Serafina's 3-minute live stream destroyed a $3.7 billion empire. The lesson was clear. Character determines corporate success more than inherited wealth. 1 year later, the contrast was almost cinematic. Serafina Vance Rothschild, the woman who once commanded 3.8 million followers, was standing behind the counter at a Brooklyn community center, sorting donated clothes, her court-mandated orange vest reading, "Federal Offender." She lived in a tiny studio apartment, relying on public transportation and minimum wage. Miss Vance Rothschild supervised Maria Rodriguez, the center director whose family Serafina would have dismissed as the help just months ago. "These winter coats need organizing by size." "Yes, ma'am," Serafina replied quietly, her manicured nails chipped from honest work. Her reluctant transformation was slow, painful, but real. Her court-mandated journal entries provided insight into how privilege collides with accountability. "I never understood dignity before losing mine," she wrote. "The communities I mocked with my privilege now teach me about character through their patience." Meanwhile, Marcus Thorne presided over Nexuscore's stunning expansion. "Our valuation hit $47 billion. My principled response attracted $4.7 billion in new contracts and massive investment from ESG-focused funds. I established the Digital Equity Initiative, providing free cloud services to minority-owned businesses. Our success allowed us to invest over $500 million in communities historically excluded from tech opportunities." Technology should create opportunity, not barriers, I told students at a Harvard Business School conference. The Vance Rothschild collapse proves discrimination destroys shareholder value. Character determines success more than inheritance ever could. Serafina's racist live stream generated over 100 million views, becoming the most viral business justice content in history. It proved that modern technology creates immediate, undeniable consequences for discriminatory behavior, regardless of wealth or social position. So, that's the story of the day a viral live stream ended a dynasty. It's proof that in our interconnected world, character is the ultimate corporate security. But here's the question for you. Was the punishment enough? 18 months for Serafina and 12 years for her father. Given the decades of systemic racism the Vance Group enabled, did the courts go far enough? Or was the true punishment the $8.9 billion loss and the total public humiliation they faced? Have you ever witnessed that kind of racism and wondered whether speaking up would make a difference? Serafina's live stream proved that if you document it and demand accountability, justice can be swift, brutal, and incredibly satisfying. Let me know your take in the comments below. Like this video if you believe the Washington Standard, zero tolerance for racism in business, should be mandatory worldwide. And subscribe for more stories about the high-stakes battles for justice.